In this video, I'll be going through the Meld testnet. So this is just before they're going to launch. The testnet is now public. I managed to get an access code. I think they're only releasing about 100 every week. Now, if you're wondering what Meld is a borrowing and lending protocol built on the Cardano blockchain, but also branching off and integrating with other chains such as Polygon as well. So it's doing the whole DeFi borrowing lending side of things, but also interoperable as well and going to other ecosystems. So I'm pretty excited about this one. It blew up in 2021 when they did their first initial stake pool offering, where you could delegate your wallet to one of their stake pools and then earn some of the Meld tokens. And there were a huge amount of people jumping on board, and there was a lot of interest in the project. And now, after a year and a half, the development has finally gotten to the point where they're launching a product. Let's get into it.
Crypto's the future, really.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'll be doing a quick overview here so that if you're interested in Meld but don't want to go through the testnet process and learning how to use the platform and setting up a testnet wallet and all that kind of thing, this will give you a nice overview of what's possible and what the platform can do. I have had to play around with it so I could familiarize myself with it a little bit. There were little things I had to work out. I didn't read any documentation at all or testnet guides. I just went forth and try to work out how the borrowing and lending all worked. So this is the platform. Now, before I get into that, I just want to give a little bit of a shout out to the subscribers. Now, these are actual joint paid members on the YouTube channel. So I've got a brand new member here, Mark Byers. He's from the Sydney Cardano meetup group, and he came over to the Brisbane Cardano Summit. And thank you, Mark, for your support there. And thank you, Stephen Gerderson, for your support there as well. So really appreciate both of the members there. Members, not just subscribers. Really helps with the channel as well. So let's get into the Meld side of things. And this is the platform as it is. So when you set up the testnet environment, you do need to set up a brand new wallet, set up an account, and connect all those factors in. So I'm connected with my Google account to the website, and I think that's purely for tracking. I don't know if it's actually going to go into production. I have to reach out to the team and find out. But these are all the assets at the moment that you can play around with. Everything from Hosky, Wing Riders, the C3, Meld, Copy, IUSD, World Mobile Token, ADA, and Min. So it's ordered by how many assets you have here. And if I've got 25,000 in my wallet here. That's quite nice. if only my real wallet had that much. But here you can see a graph and general chart of your liquidity value over time. And if you click on each one of these assets, you can actually see the asset and its value over time there. And I really like this little addition here. It's a bit of a thought process where they're incorporating a little bit of the color and the branding into the styling of the graphs and the data that you can see on here. So it's kind of nice to see. They also have your transaction list and everything that's been happening with the particular wallet and that particular asset in your wallet. So it's quite nice to see there too. Now, the thing that you have to work through on testnet, I don't know if this is going to be the same on production, but the wallet is within their platform, and I'm using at the moment a password and a forgot your password, a reminder phrase, and I don't know if that's going to make it into production, how that's going to work, or if they're going to use the general wallet connect thing. So I'm not entirely sure how that part of that platform works, but I can, in fact, use the send and receive functionality here and send assets to my testnet wallet. So I've got my Nabi wallet in the corner here, and I can get my receiving address. So I'll copy my receiving address and I can send 500 test min tokens, type in the address, confirm, and send. There we go. So I did do this a little bit before, and I did test that process through, and I did see those transactions come up. So it's definitely working all on testnet, and I'll have this transaction just open. I'll reload this page in a moment when the transaction hits the blockchain. So the real interesting aspects around this is the borrowing and lending side of things, applying assets to the protocol so other people can borrow against it, and then also borrowing the various assets. So here I've got a couple of things that I've already borrowed and assets that I've supplied there already. Now, there was a strange bug when I was going through here, when I was supplying or trying to borrow some test ADA. It said I wasn't quite in the meeting the minimum requirements. I wasn't quite sure about what that was. I'll try and find out for you guys. But if you come up with any errors and you are playing around the testnet, now it's a really good time to go through and report those bugs or provide general feedback. So I'll go through and I'll borrow some assets here. So I'll click on borrow from the bottom, and here you can choose your asset that you want. So here they have a predefined list. I'm assuming they have certain assets that they want within their ecosystem. So it has to be something of value, not just every single meme coin or whatever that's within the Cardano ecosystem. So this may be a predefined list. So in this case, I am going to borrow some min tokens. I've clicked on min. Now the interest rate here I can see available borrowed, total min borrowed, and pool total borrowed. It looks like this pool's been maxed out in the amount that it has been borrowed. But I'm going to try anyway and borrow some 100 min tokens. And I'll click on confirm and borrow. Okay, it said I've successfully borrowed 100 test min tokens. I'll click on that transaction. I'll wait for that one to come through as well. So that one still hasn't come through, but this sending one here, let me just reload this page. There we go. So that one's gone through and it's confirmed just 2 minutes ago. And let me just try and refresh this one. Testnet is a lot faster. There it goes. Okay, so it's gone up as well. So there we go. So I've just borrowed those particular assets, and that will come through and appear on the dashboard on the side here as well. Now we've got this other little tab here, a list of all the assets that I can borrow to. So let's go borrow some IUSD, and I'll borrow another 100 there. You can see here it's the contrast ratio of this is terrible against the dark blue. So they do have to work on that. Same with the contrast ratio here. It doesn't meet web accessibility guidelines. Guys, that's just a pointer. You can increase that so it's easier to see, even in dark mode. So I'll just borrow 100, click confirm, and then borrow again. Now, if this was connected with a NAMI wallet on the interface, you would have to approve those transactions each time. But because this is within a wallet within their ecosystem on their platform, we're not confirming those transactions. Personally, I would still like a password confirmation each time I do that. So it makes me stop and think about what I'm doing and confirming that I'm doing the right thing, rather than just click, 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 click and just going through the transactions. So that's, there we go, 100 IUSD borrowed. Now, if I go back to borrowed, I should eventually see my other asset, the min tokens that I borrowed there. I can't yet, so let me just hit the refresh button and see if it comes up. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Now, the other interesting thing I did notice a little bit earlier was pending transactions. So I have an open transaction in the queue here, and that would have been what I've just borrowed in regards to the IUSD. So that's coming up through there as well. Now, this I didn't see before either. This is a quick loan overview. So the amount of collateral I've supplied to the platform and the amount that I've borrowed to. So it's interesting to actually see that. Now, I'm wondering, now I do understand the platform is supposed to be an over-collateralized borrowing lending protocol. So I need to provide collateral, over-collateralized assets to the platform before I can borrow anything else. And I wonder if that was supposed to be an indicator so I can actually see how much I've borrowed and how much I've provided in terms of liquidity. So there we go. So I've borrowed a couple of assets there. Now I'm going to supply some more. So I'm going to click on what I can supply. And in this case, I'm going to supply some test Meld. So I'll click on that supply. I'll give them 10,000. There we go. It's only just under 20% of my available supply in my wallet. So just confirm, supply. And I'll let that transaction go through too. Okay, so now we're back on the platform here. Let me just hit the refresh. Great. So I can see the IUSD that I borrowed a little bit earlier that's come through, and I'm just seeing now, I'm just waiting for that test Meld to come through. So let's have a look at the dashboard here now that I've moved some assets around, and this detailed overview here of my position in terms of what I'm borrowing and what I'm lending to the platform. Net worth is just over 200 USD. I've lent one asset, borrowed 4. And then this is interesting, the net APY on this. So I'm making a bit of a loss, I guess, because I'm borrowing so many assets at the moment. I'm not earning any yield interest off of what I'm currently lending out. Or should I say, what I'm borrowing, I have to pay more interest on all of these assets than what I'm actually lending out. So it's nice that I've got this overview here on the APY, so I can know my overall position. This risk factor here is actually also really nice. So I can see my portfolio is quite risky. Maybe I'll get liquidated for some of these loans that I have here. And it's I should be looking into changing my position so that I can actually have a better, less of a risk factor. Okay, so now my my test meld has come through and my risk factor is increasing or decreasing. So I guess a lower risk factor is good. So a high 100 out of 100 is a high risk. I'm assuming that's right. What I'll do is I'll provide more ADA and meld into here and I'll see which way that number goes. That was a little confusing. So risk factor, so I'm assuming a high number is worse. Okay, so let's go supply. Let's supply some more ADA. Let's supply a really high amount of ADA, 10,000. That's almost my entire wallet. 10,000, that's quite a good amount. There we go. So that's successful. And I'll just have to wait for that to come through. And that'll be a little bit more of a supply on my wallet here. So my APY and my risk factor should change. And there we go. I can see my extra 10,000 ADA has come through. So I've got 11,000 ADA there. My risk factor's gone down. My APY is gone down as well. That's kind of terrible. So I was right. The lower the number here, the lower the risk on my account. But I would like to get more of an APY here. That's really just average. So let's go full degen and supply everything. Let's supply some more min tokens. I borrowed some, so your requests will remain in the queue. The tokens will be added to the pool as soon as there's space. Ah, that's right. Okay, gotcha. So I can't supply any more min tokens because this is totally full. So I wonder if there's like a amount that they are aiming for, and because it's full now, they can't add any more in. And that's the yield rate for it. Okay, I didn't really pay attention to that. Let's have a look at something else. Maybe there's something else. Ah, right, gotcha. Okay, that yield rate's terrible. Let's find something that's a slightly higher yield. There we go. Hosky's higher. So let's provide some Hosky. ISG's average, World Mobile. Okay, let's go the Hosky token. There we go. So that's a nice yield, variable yield rate of 3% available as collateral. So let's go full degen and put in as much as I can. Go confirm and supply. Great. Okay. Now that will go through in a moment and will appear on my supplied list on the left-hand side here. Now, while that happens, I will actually pay back some of these loans. So I've got extra meld, so I can repay this loan here that I've borrowed. So let's repay the entire amount. Oh, the Hosky tokens have come up already. So let's confirm this, repay, and I'll just go back to the home page, my dashboard. My APY is still really average. Net worth has gone up, obviously, because I've supplied more, but net APY, not much at all. That's with the Hosky coming up. So let's repay some of these loans and see how that affects the APY, so interest rate. So let's repay this one here. Let's repay the full amount. Great. What else have I got? The min tokens, I'll repay this one here. Interest rate at 2%. Confirm, repay. And the last one here is the test meld I need to repay. So let's repay that one. Now, I can't repay my Hosky loan because I've provided all of it as liquidity over here. Ah, what is this? Insufficient value account deposit. Okay, is that because I've got nothing available to repay? So that's because I've supplied too much as well. Okay, fair enough. Let's refresh this screen and have a look at what we got, where we're at. Risk factor's gone down slightly. My APY is pretty average. So I can see here across the top here, my overall borrowed assets is 4.03% interest, and my all supplied is at 0.36 interest here. So I don't know how that balances out to this net APY. I would like to understand how that works. Probably not too important, but it's good to actually have those indicators there. Now, I still have one transaction pending in the queue here. So I'm assuming with the pending transactions, there is some sort of batching system here. A lot of the dexes on Cardano do have some sort of batching process of sorts to actually get the transactions aligned. So you submit all these transactions on chain, then they have to funnel it through the batcher, optimize the transactions there, and then it goes back out to the chain. So let's refresh the screen and see if that's gone through. Okay, my borrowed list oh no, I've still got some assets here that still need to go through and get paid, repaid. Now I'm wondering if because I went through and smashed all those transactions that it actually didn't work. And of course I didn't check the transactions up here, but I will keep this open now to see if that actually goes through. And I'll go back to min. I've got no, oh, okay, I see. The value here for my min tokens is 0.000051 test min, and same with the meld, 0.001174 test meld. So I've essentially got nothing left, but it didn't pay those that little bit of dust that was left over on the actual account. Okay, that's fair enough. Same with the Hosky tokens. I've only got 999 Hosky tokens. It's just the IUSD that didn't get through. Maybe I just had to wait that little bit longer. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the IUSD has gone through as well. It's 0.000098 IUSD left. Okay, that's good to know. So my borrowed assets is worth essentially nothing. My interest rate is that. Net APY, I still don't get that number, but you know, that's probably not important. Okay, so now we can see how the platform works overall, how the borrowed assets section works, how you can supply assets to the platform, and how the overview of your dashboard will look. The overview of the wallets as well, the sending and receiving of the wallets and assets is all working. So it's pretty nice as it is. Now, I'd love to see how the NFT side of things works here. So if you're supplying or can you get an asset of borrowing against your NFT or something, maybe that will come up and be competing against other platforms such as Paribus, Fluid Tokens, and Lending Pond. So there's a little bit of competition there if Meld decide to use NFTs as collateral too. But that's it, guys. That's the overview of the Meld testnet, the platform as it is. I'm liking how it is. I'm liking what I see. I could go full degen on this and provide some crazy amount of assets on the protocol and see what type of APY I can get out of that. So for all these other assets that you may not get any staking rewards for, you can now provide onto the platform and let other people borrow against it to do some other DeFi actions, whatever it might be. So it's going to be very interesting now that we have these additional tools in the Cardano ecosystem to see what kind of plays that you can do and what borrowing lending protocols that you can work against, what other platforms you can provide liquidity to. Maybe you're going to borrow something from here, provide liquidity somewhere else, gain the interest earned there for the rewards, sell them off, repay your loan here, and earn some extra tokens or whatever it is. And you know, my mind just boggles trying to work out what's possible. You really need to be on top of this stuff. Of course, if any of the values of the assets drop dramatically, your loan might get liquidated, and you need to really watch out for that. Now, the really big difference between platforms like Meld and ADA Finance, ADA Finance is a peer-to-peer lending protocol where they'll have a loan up from one person, and it may be 50,000 ADA tokens at a set amount of interest, and then someone else can borrow that, or a supply, I should say, supply that particular loan. Whereas this comes down to a pool of assets. So you provide your assets to a pool of collateral, and then people can borrow against that pool. So it works in a very different mechanism. It's very unique and new to the Cardano ecosystem. It's not unique to DeFi. This is how other protocols like Aave work at the moment, and that's the way that most people in the DeFi ecosystem and what they're used to. But it's now very close to being available on the Cardano ecosystem. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of the Meld testnet platform and what it might be like once it launches on live mainnet as well. All right, if you enjoyed the video, click that thumbs up, click subscribe, click the notification bell, or you can even become a member now. You can join up, become a member, and be a part of that exclusive community. I'll be having more and more live events just for the members of the channel too. Okay, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.